we thought the keys to the game were going to be that we'd have to take care of the ball. That was number one. We couldn't turn it over because they're so good at forcing turnovers and turning those turnovers into points. And I thought our team did a great job of, getting open, working together, taking care of the basketball. So we didn't give them a lot of run-out opportunities. Then we had to keep them off the boards. We knew they were going to try to pound it inside on to 44 Tanner, and Whit did a good job limiting how many points she was able to get, and DT just did an amazing job on their best player. I mean, they kept running her off screens, and DT gave her no space, and anytime she shot it, it was contested. She just did a sensational job defensively. And then I like she's a good shooter, and she hasn't been getting enough respect. And a lot of it is just sometimes she's a reluctant shooter, and people pick up on the fact she doesn't like to shoot. So I like that she, in this game, has stepped up and went right into her shot, knocked it down, and proved what she can do from behind the arc.
When you said their best player, you talking about McKay?
Number 10, Montgomery.
Montgomery, okay. Because McKay was giving you trouble there at the very start, but then you guys sealed her down after that.
Yeah. Well, we played very good team defense. We tried to give everybody a lot of help, and Whit on the big kid, DT on their scorer, and then the rest of the team really helping out and making some plays when they try to put the ball inside.
Initially, it didn't get to you real bad, but what it was kind of doing, it looked like to me, you weren't turning it over necessarily, but they were really kind of slowing you down on the press and making you work your half court really, really quickly. You stayed calm, and so following suit did your girls, and Whitney kind of put the ball in her hands at that point and just kind of broke the press by herself, to a certain degree.
Yeah, well, we want Whit to have the ball in her hands and scan the floor. I thought, early in the game, we were going for a couple looks, and I think we didn't throw it what we were going to look for against the press. And we still took care of the ball, but we weren't as aggressive attacking as we wanted to be. And then the first possession on the second half, we kind of reminded what we were going to look for, and we got an easy layup right on the first possession versus the pressure. And I think that opened some things up because then they had to guard the whole floor a little bit more, so it became a little bit easier to move the ball and attack.
What was the mood at the halftime, Whitney? Obviously, like Karl said, y'all came out with a really strong flurry. I think an 8-9-0 run there to start the second half.
We just wanted to continue to attack and then make sure we were turning the ball over still against their press, and just have more sense of urgency when we got back out there for the second half.
Nice win for you guys. Seriously, nice win. It's a 10-2 SEC team comes in here, and I think they were 7th nationally in steals per game and just all kinds of fairly gaudy stats and stuff. But you guys are getting there, aren't you?
Yeah, I think so. We're coming together as a team more, and playing our team defense and trying to work more together on offense. And when we face adversity, we try to stick together and play as a team and knock down open shots and things like that.
Karl, what does it do for your offense when DT gets left open and starts taking shots and heading them?
Well, I think it just makes people have to think twice about employing that strategy. And as I said, she can shoot it, and she shoots it really well when she goes right into her shot and doesn't hesitate. And that's what she did second half of both the last two games. So I think people come in with a different game plan every time. We just have to understand what they're trying to do. Whatever they do, it's given us an opportunity to attack somewhere. We just have to recognize where those vulnerabilities are based on how they're playing us.
What about you, DT? Do you feel like you were being ignored on offense a little bit?
Well, yeah. But just like Coach said, people are going to leave me open. Since point of view, I know that Auburn watched the film and they seemed kind of it was effective a little bit, because it came down to overtime in the wire. So I knew they may leave me open. And at shoot around today, I just practiced on getting to my finish, and that's what I did in the game.
Are you feeling really confident with your shot right now?
Yes, I am. I'm feeling much better about it. I didn't hit, like, I don't know what shot it was the last game when I hit my first 3, but I hit one early this game, and so I knew that I could do it again.
You know, Karl said that you're not really big on shooting that much. Has that always kind of been your thing? Have you always had to be a little bit prodded maybe to be a scorer, at least in Karl's system?
I think I just chose to be that way. No, it wasn't him, it was just me.
That's kind of your personality?
Yeah, I guess.
It wasn't her personality in high school. She loved shooting in high school.
What, is he scary? You're scared to shoot?
No.
I always encourage her to shoot. And I'm always telling her, shoot it, and then sometimes she acts like she doesn't hear me.
What's it like being a point guard in Karl's system? You know, you've been here 4 years now, and you know, all kidding aside, but I mean, you know, you've kind of flown under the radar a little bit. You know, one thing is because you don't score, you haven't up until, you know, this year scored a whole lot of points, but, you know, what's it kind of been for you running the point here? And, you know, obviously we got Whitney around here, we had Jenna Kyle, we had, you know, some other players that kind of got the ink and the attention maybe a little more. What, has that bothered you? Did you actually like that a little bit maybe?
Not at all. It didn't bother me because they're great players. I like to get them open. I like to, you know, I'm excited for them to score. And that's probably my problem because I like lay back and let them score and then like teams don't respect me as much. But it's really been fun. I like being a point guard here, but my first priority is to get other people open, and that's kind of been a downfall because people are not respecting me as much.
How hard was it to learn Karl's system?
It's still hard. I'm still learning. I'm still learning.
How so?
It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff you got to learn and remember.
So one more non-conference game before conference play starts. Karl, how do you feel the team looks at basically the halfway point of the season?
Well, you know, I'm proud of you know what we've achieved so far. You know, we've had to deal with playing without Whit, and then where she could only play half the game, and then we had to work her back in, and all those things make adjustments to where people play and what roles they fill in, and you know, I'm really happy with the way we've come together and played over the last 5 or 6 games in particular. But you know, I still see a lot of room for growth, especially the activity level and the working together on offense is still a little slow and a little stagnant, and it's got to be something that we emphasize before we get to that first conference game.
Whitney, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you even monitor kind of like what the ASUN teams are kind of doing in non-conference just to prepare yourself to kind of see like who's maybe better than others?
Yeah, we definitely follow all the conference teams. We want to know who they're playing, and we watch some of their games even in the non-conference just to get a sense for what they're doing, so that when we play in practice, you know, we have our next opponent, but we also need to make sure that we're working on things that we're going to see often in the conference season.
What does DT mean to this team? How important is she to this team?
DT is definitely a leader for this team. She's our point guard, so she's the one that gets things going. She's telling people where they need to be, what spots they need to be in on the floor, and then she's a motivator on the floor for us. So our offense starts with DT, so we need her for every game, and then her defensive intensity, I mean, she usually guards the best player on every team that we go against, and they usually have their lowest scoring, you know, games for their whole season. So DT is a big factor for our team.
Whitney, how much did you really kind of embrace the challenge of going against, you know, such a big opponent, number 44, and then kind of holding down the post and even getting 5 blocks in the game?
My coaches were just telling me to try to stay out of foul trouble and, you know, like not give her an easy layup, like don't give her the angle to the basket. So I just tried to play solid defense, and then my teammates gave me a lot of help when I needed it. So.
I'm not going to ask you about Hartford. They were losing to GW fairly substantially last I saw, like 20 points or something like that. But doubleheaders start back up, ladies. Do you like that? It's been a couple of years.
I love it.
Tell me why.
It's fun. We get to watch the main game, and we get to play first. Don't have a late game, so that's always good.
Do you enjoy them, Whitney?
Yeah, it's fun because the fans like watching both of us, the guys and the girls, play. And sometimes they were complaining about, you know, not being able to watched both games, and I'm like, I can't do anything about it. But it's fun to be able to watch, for us to be able to play and then watch the guys play, because we want to see them play too, whenever we can. So.
Carl, do you have an opinion on the matter either way?
No, I like the doubleheaders. I
Do you?
mean, it's a good opportunity for our fans. I mean, they prefer it, so, you know, I like that it accommodates what's best for them.
All right, guys,
Carl,
thank you.
Can I
Go
add
ahead,
a couple
one
more? Sorry, you know, we mentioned, you know, DT and Whitney, but tell me a little bit about Taylor. You know, she had a great game as well, and, you know, just kind of hitting it from beyond the arc.
Yeah, I mean, we're fortunate. We've got two of the best shooters in the country. We got Whit and we got Gradigan. And, you know, there's going to be nights where Whit hits 7, 8 threes in a game. There's going to be nights where Gradigan hits 7, 8 threes. You've got to pay close attention to both those kids and not give them any space. And when you do that, there's a lot of space for DT or Atwater to get to the basket and create some things off the dribble. So we're fortunate that we have two of the very best.
And tons of shot clock violations this game as well. I mean, just how far has your defense come from, you know, start of the season to now and possibly even more growing?
Well, our defense has been pretty good for most of the year. You know, it's more offensively where, you know, we haven't shot it as well as we typically do. And as I said, our screening and cutting execution isn't matching how much work we're putting into it. So, you know, I'm sure they'll see some things on tape. And you know, I think they realize that it needs to get better too, and that's the first start. Like, you know, sometimes it was sloppy and we got away with it, and now we're not getting away with it. So now they see that there's a change that needs to be made, our execution of screening and cutting.